finding 2 Corinthians, the 11th chapter. I'll be reading to you from verse 16 through verse 21, and I'll ask you to come back and repeat verse 19 and 20 after me. Hear the words of this great man of God. Paul writes, I say again, let no one think me a fool, if otherwise, at least receive me as a fool, that I also may boast a little. What I speak not according to the Lord, but as it were foolishly, in this confidence of boasting. Seeing that many boast according to the flesh, I also will boast. For you put up with fools gladly, since you yourselves are wise. For you put up with it if one brings you into bondage, if one devours you, if one takes from you, if one exalts himself, if one strikes you on the face. To our shame, I say that we were too weak for that. But in whatever anyone is bold, I speak foolishly. I am bold also. If you repeat after me verse 19 and verse number 20. For you put up with fools. Gladly. Since you yourselves are wise. For you put up with it. If one brings you into bondage. If one devours you. If one takes from you. If one exalts himself. If one strikes you on the face. Amen. And as we look at this pericope of text, I would invite you to look at someone near you and tell them, don't put up with fools. Don't put up with fools. Paul says, don't put up with fools. So when you read this book and this chapter in particular, you may recall what Paul is dealing with. He's got these false teachers, and they are teaching things that's wrong, but beyond that, the people in Corinth are accepting them and rejecting him. And he basically expresses that because of that, the folks who they're allowing to guide them are basically fools. And expressing to them that although these folks are fools, they actually happily follow them like they are not fools. And when you look into here, of course, contextually, Paul is dealing with the distance between those who have practiced teaching falsehood and how Corinthians have accepted that. But beyond the surface of the text is the reality that he does address contextually these people who they have accepted, although they've accepted folk who think and function and act like fools. And so when we look into this text on our time together today, I want you to have a chance to get a picturesque view of the danger of what happens when you find yourself following the pathway of a fool. First of all, as you look into the passage, some people, because Paul had treated them well, and the false folk in Corinth had treated them badly, that made them believe the false people were right. See, there are people who think treating you good is a sign that they're weak. Now, if you, to our young ladies, single ladies corner, pay close attention, because I want you to be able to pick out, and the young men, I want you to pick out a fool.
Amen. Amen.
There are people who think treating you well is not good. There are some folk who actually believe you got to dog folk out. Because if you don't dog them out, they're not going to appreciate you. And so there are some folk who live their lives with a demeanor that unless who cannot treat you well because something is wrong in them. And so it's key to understand there are people inside the world that you live in, like Paul for one, again, these folks are fools, but his concern is that the Corinthians are looking up to the folk that's dogging them out. Why would somebody dog you up? For some people, they actually have come to believe that if I treat you nice, if I talk to you nice, and I do nice things for you, you're not going to appreciate it. And some of you, bless your soul, have been even taught, look, son, either your daddy or some man told you, you got to keep a woman in her spot. Make sure she know you running the show. And there are people who project the idea. Sometimes you watch these talk shows on television, they have some man say, well, I tell a woman to go to the bathroom. She go when I say go. She do what I say do, when I say do it, how I say do it, because she ain't got no sense. That's why she got to do it my way. I want you to realize there's a danger. There are people that believe the only way to treat you is badly, and if they treat you well, there's something wrong with them. But there's also people who believe, who are just not attracted to anybody that would treat them good. Amen. Well, you know, yeah, he in the church, he a nice Christian kind of guy, you know, he read the Bible, and, you know, he want to study the Bible. You know, I ain't got no issue with that, you know, but you know, man, you know, I need somebody with a little thug in him. I need a little more roughneck in a brother. I ain't got enough drama in my life. I need somebody who's going to keep me up all night. I need somebody who knows how to give me a good cussing out sometimes. I need somebody who can make me cry all night. He's just too nice.
Go ahead and preach today, bro.
There's some folk
Tell the truth.
who can't handle good treatment. That's because sometimes, because if you got some self-esteem issues,
Yes, sir.
you don't think you're supposed to be treated well.
Go ahead and teach today.
You know, he just, you know, I just need somebody a little rougher. No, I need like a man. You know, man, somebody would just come and say, get over there. Get behind me. They say in Burma, at one time a guy was visiting Burma, and he saw a man in Burma. You know, normally in many cultures you have women walking behind the men. In Burma they saw a man, and often in Burma the women walking in front of the men. And the guy said, man, that's, you know, you got your wife walking in front. He stopped and said, you know, I'm surprised to find your culture at a place where you guys honor the women and they walk in front of you. So you got your wife walking in front of you? That's beautiful. He said, well, yes, she walks in front of me. He said, because we still got landmines out here from the last war, so she's walking in front of me for the landmine. But there are people who believe that treating you bad, there's something wrong with that. And there are people who can't handle being treated well. There's something in Corinth, the dilemma here inside this church. Here's a church where Paul said, I treated you well. They treat you badly. And you value them over me. Why would you value somebody who treats you badly? That says more about you than it ever says about them.
Amen.
Paul talks about the danger of putting up with a fool. Now let me give you historically. There's actually in the Hebrew, the Old Testament, 5 to 7 words for fool. And the New Testament, there are 5 to 7 words for fool in the New Testament as well. Some of the Hebrew words would be kasal, which is to be stupid. You just don't know. Amen. There's some folk who just don't know. And that's called a full word for fool. Another word is a sakai, somebody who's thick-headed. They're just slow to catch on. You got to repeat the same stuff. They get it. They just slow. Amen when you can. But the worst kind in the Old Testament is called the Nabal.
Yeah.
See, Nabal literally means fool. When the psalmist says the fool has said in his heart, the word in fool there in the Hebrew is Nabal. The Nabal has said in his heart, there is no God. I will come back to that. In the New Testament, there are about 4 or 5 words for fool. There was a frown, which is mindless, anotate, which is to be without understanding, somebody who just doesn't seem to get it. And then there's mortis, which is foolish, and there's aphrison, which is a lack of sense. But here's the point. The core idea of a fool is best expressed in 1 Samuel 25. There's a man in 1 Samuel by the name of Nabal. His name means fool. He is in a battle against David, and David in 1 Samuel 25, David is known. He's not known for his beautiful, he's a psalmist. He's not known for his songs. David has the best, he's the Michael Jackson of our day. He's not known for his songs. And yes, David did dance to the Lord, but David is not known for dancing.